Hello everyone, guys, girls, friends, families, haters, dogs, cats, gerbils, kids in the back of the car, and the people on the bus hearing this when you accidentally play out loud. I'm Rach.
And I'm Faith. Welcome to the Is It Normal podcast.
We love it that you're here. Episode 10, baby. We're trying to be gentler for your ears.
It's quite an aggressive start otherwise.
It is.
Hi everyone.
We want to lull you into it. Nicely and gently. Hello everyone.
Also it's the evening, so I guess maybe that's adding to the cozy vibes.
Both got coffees in our hands. I have a blanket, as always.
Yeah.
Welcome. We love it that you're here.
Yeah. Indeed. Should we just jump straight in?
Yes.
Straight to show and tell. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I can go first if you want. Do I just go first?
I don't know.
Is there a pattern?
I haven't noticed a pattern, but you can go first. Go for it.
Mine is a really cute one. We got a DM from someone saying how a picture they saw on Instagram reminded them of the podcast about comparison, and it really helped them with comparison in their life. Good. And I literally cried.
We read it at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah.
And honestly, we both cheered up.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point.
One person.
Yeah.
Do you mean you help one person? So the quote she saw that reminded her of us was comparison destroys personality. Mm. And I was like, yeah, that's good.
It's so valid.
It's so good.
So good.
And I just thought how lovely that they see that and think of us. That's what we want to put out in the world, really, isn't it? So
yeah, 100%.
But I just thought that, and as well, with that episode about comparison, that quote fits in so well, doesn't it? It's a really interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be our show and tell. So it's we love that person, thank you very much. And also great quote.
Yeah, really good.
What was it again?
Comparison destroys personality.
Yeah, because if we're all just trying to fit in boxes, you actually don't really learn who you are. Mm. If you're following trends, you don't really learn what you like. And I think I think it was just really beautiful. I think it was put really well. And it's a really good way of looking at things.
Cool. Good stuff. So my show and tell is something that I saw on Instagram. Surprise, surprise. What else is new? The account is @mindless.logic, and I'm pretty sure it's a podcast. But the thing that I saw was just a little clip from it. But the question that they're chatting about is, if you had the ability to clap and create something, it has to be the same every time, what would the item be? So every time you clap, this item appears. What would it be? They were talking, one of them was said money, and the other one was logical but a little bit dry.
Boring.
I just thought it was good. They said a rubber duck, which I quite like that idea. You clap and there's just a duck.
What a waste.
Wow. Judgmental much.
Your house would be full. You just leave a trail of rubber ducks. Also,
how often are you clapping?
but imagine you're at a concert or something.
Yeah, true.
Or you're watching the opera. Clap, 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 rubber duck, rubber duck, rubber duck.
When a plane lands.
Rubber duck, rubber duck, rubber duck. A gift.
I just thought it's just
I'm
fun,
not gonna lie,
it?
I feel I would just go straight to practical. I'd be really boring. I don't know,
what do you need that much of, though?
I don't know, maybe water or something.
Water? Do you live in the desert or something? Also, how would it just spill everywhere?
But yeah, this is the thing. So I have so many questions. I'm not fun with things like this. I'm not. I'm sorry. I have so many questions.
Go on.
For example, trying to hit our protein goals, if I said chicken, would it be a live chicken every time? Or would it be cooked? I guess I could say cooked chicken, but then could I put flavours on it? It would be the same flavours every time. I don't want the same flavoured chicken every time. But I guess I could just get normal chicken and add the seasoning afterwards. But would it be warm? Would it be cold? Again, would it be in a package, or would it just come
I guess
but
you could say I think the idea is it appears in your hands. So it could be a packet of barbecue chicken.
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, for the rest of my life.
The thing is I don't have an answer. I don't know what I would do. Do you think like a bottle of
water is a good idea, see?
I quite like the idea of it being a can of Fanta.
Yeah.
I really like Fanta.
Yeah.
Fanta Zero, obviously. But like, but then if you are at a concert, you're just flinging.
But like, I mean, obviously, best friends. I feel like they're best friends everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no, the bottle of the water is the most boring thing in the world. Sorry, that's so boring. I literally want to cry.
It is a little bit boring. But practical.
It'd be flavoured water, I don't even like water. But also, like, water is so useful. Like, your car, you know, you need some, like, coolant or something, or windscreen wash. Obviously not coolant, water isn't coolant. Oh my gosh, I don't know anything about cars. But if you needed, like, windscreen wash, chuck some water in.
Water. Right. Sorry, I thought you were saying what would be useful, I don't know, coolant. Maybe when I clap it could be coolant. I was like, you really don't need that much coolant.
Like once in a... I don't know how often I'm supposed to put coolant in my car. Once in a whenever I break down. But also like water, like...
Once in a breakdown cycle.
Tampon.
It's my time of the year. Breakdown time.
My time of the week.
Day.
Literally hour.
Minute. Second.
Moment to moment.
Millisecond.
Personal hygiene products. But again, I don't want to say one every time. But also water, like, you know, you try to sober up your drunk friend. You're in a desert somewhere. Like... I don't know, you find a goldfish, like, flapping around.
Yes. It's the poisonous berries all over again. Those 3 very normal categories. So bring up your drunk friend in a desert and you find a goldfish. Why are your examples so rogue?
I lead an interesting life.
You're just walking down the street, you see a goldfish, you're like, no fear.
No fear.
The water bottle is here.
Also, if you're doing salsa, little clap, hydration as you're doing it.
Brilliant.
Oh, so boring though.
No, I think actually it's very practical.
Yeah, now that I'm saying it out loud.
Do you know what? Imagine if
a drought.
Imagine if they were setting up a paddling pool.
It would take a long time. Also, I wouldn't want it to be in a plastic bottle because I think it's really bad for the environment. So, like, I also don't want it to be in glass because you can't have it flailing around. So it'd have to be a reusable bottle. But then, what do you?
But if if it's a reusable bottle every time.
But then I guess people can just reuse it.
Oh, like you're giving them away.
Yeah. Tricky. I want a really upscale, upmarket, fancy ass bottle with water, and then I can just create a company and sell the bottles. So every time I clap, I get a new bottle.
hydrated.
And I get a product. I'm hydrated and I'm rich, bro. The dream.
The dream. I don't know what I would choose.
I'd love to be hydrated.
We can all dream.
Snacks, but you'd get so bored.
Maybe like this is kind of stupid. Maybe like a singular Skittle. As in,
I can just imagine you being in work and your colleague being like, Faith, stop freaking clapping. You're like,
what's more annoying? Me sat there like to get a load in one go, or me every now and again.
Oh yeah, instantly annoyed. I'm instantly annoyed. I'd want you to do it all at once.
Yeah.
And there'd be like a rain of it's raining Skittles.
I could just go like sit in a room on my own.
You could just go and buy some, I suppose.
That's less fun.
Oh yes, that's not the point of the thing, right? The point of the thing. So either a Fanta Fruit Twist can
or a singular Skittle.
A singular Skittle. Why singular now?
Because, well, less plastic.
Right.
Firstly. And because I like the idea of being at a concert and like everybody's clapping and you're just like da, 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 and there's just like Skittles like flying everywhere. You know, I feel like packets of Skittles is like it's too intense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a
but also
it's
I
like
feel
a
like
small
it's on the
joy.
floor. Whereas if a pack of Skittles goes on the floor, it's alright.
I'd have to create an invention where like a big funnel with a basket on the bottom, like a hot air balloon, but with the top cut off.
So a basket.
That's really small.
So
a
very
funnel
small...
basket. A basket with a funnel, yes. So that as I'm doing that, they all go into the basket.
I see. Okay.
Anyway, that's my show and tell. Let us know what you would choose if you could clap and something would appear every time you clap. What would you choose? So that's our show and tell. Let's move on to polls.
Let's.
The poll that we have to look at today is probably one of my favourite polls we've done so far. It was from episode 6, which is it normal to overthink things? And the question in the poll was, which was the caveman's biggest threat? The 3 options, as you will all know if you listen to episode 6, are saber-toothed tiger, the weather, or poisonous berries.
Which I stand by. I stand by that is some of their biggest threats.
Yes. Yeah, I wasn't questioning that. I was asking people which is the top
what'd they
threat.
say? What'd they say?
100% of people voted for the same option.
What was it? See, all equally dangerous. I would say berries or saber-toothed tiger.
Should I just tell you?
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Poisonous berries.
Yeah, fair. Tricky little buggers them.
Yep. I feel like that's very accurate. So there we are. Now we know what the caveman's biggest threat was.
I do feel like they probably came up with antidotes for berries, whereas you can't really have an antidote for being mauled alive by a diet saber-toothed tiger.
Fair point.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm full of them.
And I guess there is no antidote for being...
struck by lightning.
Oh dear. We have actually had quite a lot of people mention the caveman, haven't we?
I don't know why everyone finds it so funny.
I think that's what makes it funny though. Is that it's just like that those are the key categories that came to your mind.
It is the water thing all over again.
It is. What were the water ones?
Drunk friend in a desert, you find a fish.
Yeah. That might be the poll for this week's episode.
Oh, what is the question for this week?
The question for this week is it normal to
always feel like you're in a hurry?
Always feel like you're in a hurry.
Do you often feel like you're in a hurry?
Yes. Do you?
Yep. Wow.
Quick, let's get this podcast over with.
We're on a timer, folks. Come on now.
The irony is, you literally did just say to me, we should get going. Like, we're on a timer. We should do this.
I have a bedtime to maintain. Why do you think we both rush all the time?
I guess there's just a lot of pressure to do everything.
Yeah, that's a really good answer.
Right?
Mm.
I guess, like, especially if you think about, like, fast food, fast fashion, Amazon Prime, like, next day delivery, do you know what I mean? Like, we, like, even like, Google, we're used to having everything instantly. Yeah. I'm reading that same book still that I mentioned a couple of episodes ago called 4,000 Weeks. I think it's called 4,000 Weeks. I always get confused with the number.
No, it is.
Okay, cool. And...
Time management for mortals.
Yeah, time management for mortals. Wow, fair play to you. And I'm pretty sure it was in that. He mentioned how if Amazon's like storefront page took like a few seconds or a second, I can't remember how long, but took like a very short amount of time more to load, that Amazon would lose out on like billions of pounds worth of sales each like year, or I don't know. I'm making up all the metrics, but you understand the point of like, if it took even slightly longer, they'd lose out loads, which is wild to me. Like, we're so used to everything being so fast and so available. Even sometimes if I'm like ordering something online and it says, and that like the like quickest option is like 5 days to wait for delivery, I'm a bit like, that's so long to wait. You know, isn't that wild? Like,
because you even think about like the availability of like text messages, and like how quickly we can communicate with each other, and how like, you know, some friends it's like one message a year or whatever, some friends it's like literally constant, sometimes it's like once every 3 months, whatever. But like, so obviously back in the day, as we love to say on this podcast, family favourite, is, I want to say Victorians, not even that long ago, like 50, where it's not even that long, like people would write letters to each other and that was the only form of communication. Like my nan used to write letters to me all the time, and like we'd have an ongoing conversation that spanned months, because you would just be like back and forth, you know, once every few weeks or whatever. And I think that I almost kind of miss that, because I think a lot gets lost in the like the hurry of it and the like constant communication. Because you know that phrase like, also nothing to write home about. It's like only the important stuff would get kind of communicated. And I guess there's pros and cons to that. Like, I want to know what my friend had for lunch, but also it means that then my time and capacity is then taken up by what my friend had for lunch. So there's pros and cons, isn't there? And there's pros like, oh, I'm popping to the shops on my way to yours, do you need anything? Like, yes or no? Like, quick, perfect, great, bye. But then it's like, I then feel like I have to give everyone that level of intensity when replying. And it's like, no, actually, I'm like, I have to, you know, if they reply to me that morning, I have to reply by the evening or something. And it puts this like invisible pressure on. And it's like, why do I have to reply so quickly? It doesn't mean I don't value you or love you any less, but like, I also don't want to be on my phone all the time. And like, I have a bit of an issue with like worst case scenario thinking. So I always think there's probably going to be an emergency of some sort. So like, I really struggle to put my phone on do not disturb, or airplane mode or whatever. Like, I struggle to do that because I'm like, what if? What if someone needs me? What if there's an emergency? What if? So I'm trying like really hard to like kind of come out of that, but I think it's that like, whereas again back in the day, you would just contact the services that needed to be contacted. Like, I can't help anyway. Do you mean if like even if there is an emergency?
But I guess that's it though, isn't it? We're used to knowing everything that's going on. We're not, whereas when you weren't available via text 24/7, apart from when you were asleep obviously, but like you just wouldn't know that stuff was going on until it had happened, and then you were told retrospectively. So I guess part of almost like the society that we've created for ourselves with technology is one where not only are we able to know everything that's going on at the same time, we're also because it's an option, we're expected to know everything that's going on. I feel like we're like deviating a little bit from hurry, but it does all build up to like this feeling of like overwhelm or like almost like being overstimulated, isn't it? It's like there's so much coming at us that we have to like manage our way through, that our time is being grabbed by it, like every single thing.
It's just an undercurrent of pressure. And like they say now, isn't it, that what big companies are buying is your attention.
The attention economy.
And that's what everyone's after. And I feel like it's good to know that. Like, it's good to know, okay, they actually just want my attention, so I can choose whether I give in to that or not on that particular day. But also, like, it's just so relentless.
The whole point like the whole thing of the attention economy is that like the big companies that are vying for our attention, so basically social media platforms is the most obvious example, is that they want to keep us on their platforms so that they can market to us. Right? Yeah. Because that's how they make money, is through ads. Which is ironic because those consistent, like being advertised to all the time, I think only makes us feel more in a hurry, because it makes us feel like we're behind, because there's so many things we should be thinking about whether we're going to buy or not. Like, oh, actually, maybe I'm not cool because I don't have that car, or maybe I'm not cool because I don't have that perfume, or do you know what I mean? Whatever. And it's almost kind of ironic to me that our attention is being bought, which makes us feel in a hurry because it's using our time, so we actually have less time to use on other things. But also when we're on that, it's like adding to our to-do list of things to think about or things to consider, which like it's kind of wild to me that there was a period of time where people didn't experience that.
Yeah, it must have been so nice.
I feel like everybody's brains must have been quieter.
Yeah. It just must have been so nice.
But then again, I wonder if it just looked different. So like newspapers.
But isn't there that thing of like the amount of adverts and advertisements we see in a day is what someone 100 years ago would have seen in a lifetime?
Really?
Yeah. It's like a genuine statistic.
That's wild.
Which I will research and put in the description to make sure. But yeah.
We'll fact check ourselves.
No, but genuinely, it's
That's
thousands.
wild.
Like you see thousands of ads a day. And I think, like, you know, knowing stuff like that, now when I scroll through, so if I'm scrolling through a social media platform of your choice, but I'm just going to, for example, say TikTok, and I'll like, there'll be 3 ads in a row sometimes, like some videos, and I get so annoyed that I turn it off. I get so, like, just so frustrated and annoyed and agitated by the fact that they're just constantly trying to sell me things. I'm done. And if I'm following influencers that are just advertising all the time, I'm done. Like, I'm not. I don't want more stuff. I stop. I don't want it. I don't want more stuff.
That's
I don't want more
funny.
stuff in my house. I don't want more stuff in my car. I don't want more stuff in my life. Like, I've got enough. Leave me alone. Like, can I not just be grateful for what I've got?
Yeah.
Like, it really. And then I'm not grateful for what I've got, because I'm like, oh, her clothes are nice and that hobby looks fun. Yeah. And I just live in this constant state of like, if I had that, would I? If I had that, would I be, you know, better? Blah, 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 you know, fill in the blank. And I'm like, I look at things, I'm like, no, this foundation isn't going to make my skin flawless. Like, no, this shampoo is not going to make me have radiating hair. Like, it's lies. It's all lies. And it makes me angry and it annoys me and it's a bunch of false promises. And I'm just disappointed and I don't enjoy being disappointed. So leave me alone, all of you. Get away.
Are you okay?
No. And I would have a Nokia. I really am thinking about going back to a Nokia. But then I can't do certain things that I feel like I have to do on a Nokia.
And also,
which is really frustrating.
Like, social media isn't all bad.
Yeah, there is that as well.
So, like, I guess that's the question, isn't it? Can we figure out ways of using it that are positive?
Yeah.
Because I think, like, it's funny you say about influencers. It depends on the influencer.
Yeah.
Because I probably do follow, like, a fair amount of influencers, but they're quite, like, connected to, like, there's a reason.
Yeah.
So, like, they're connected to a hobby or whatever. But there are certain influencers that if I see them posting ads, I will engage with them because I know that's where their, like, livelihood is coming from those ads.
Yeah.
So, like, if I particularly feel like I'm connected to the influencer or I particularly like what they produce, because I tend to like people that are quite creative on, like,
I think you also know, like, obviously you never know, but you kind of know, like, they use that, or like that's actually something they use. It's the ones that is like everything they're doing, and I'm like, sorry, you've just advertising 3 different shampoos. I know you're not using 3 different shampoos. Like, you're not doing that. That's bad for your hair. Like, So it's you know, like, but that makes sense. So if it's genuine and like more authentic and like they use it in their day to day and you've seen them use it and you know they use it, like, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And I'm more likely to buy that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or like buy into it. Or yeah, like engage with it because obviously they then make a living off it. Fair, fine. And it's not even social media. I don't feel like I'm even on social media that much, or I don't feel that much pressure for it because I've cultivated my social media to be a specific way. So I don't follow that many Instagram people. Like, a lot of who I follow on Instagram is actually real life friends and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just like the phone in general of like, it's all the group chats, it's all the different like clubs I'm a part of, it's all the different social groups I'm a part of, it's all the different community groups I'm a part of.
It's all the friends I have.
Yeah, honestly. So actually to be less likeable. Not even friends. Like, I'm talking about like work groups, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's a baby shower happening, there's a group for that, there's a group for that, and it's just like da 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 da. It's just constant, and I think it makes me feel rushed even if I'm not doing anything that day.
Yeah.
So like that day, maybe I've got the whole evening free, and I still feel like this perpetual like rush of, I have to think about that, I have to plan ahead for that, I have to like. I walked in to Tesco's earlier and it's like Father's Day coming up. I'm like, oh, that's another thing. Like, there's just so many holidays and celebrations. I'm such a miserable person. There's just so much joy to be had. And I'm sick of it. But like, I don't know, just let me breathe.
It's just a lot, isn't it, to keep track of and to keep on top of. And I think like the caveat is that obviously a lot of this, particularly the stuff that you've just listed, is the consequence of a full life with lots of people, lots of friends and family and stuff going on. I guess what's difficult is when like being busy and like occupied and satisfied turns into rushing around. And it feels like for me there's quite a fine line between the two, where suddenly I'm no longer like, oh, I've got this thing now and I'm off to do this and doing this thing. Oh, actually now I need to go to the shop. Like my brain kind of switches from that to like, oh my gosh, quick, gotta run, gotta do this, oh my gosh, I don't have time. Like there's a different mindset to it.
Because you can absolutely be a calm person who's busy. Yeah. So you can absolutely be someone who's like well rested and okay, but also has a full life but is also busy. Yeah. And I think for me, like, it just depends where my brain is. Yeah. Because I can have 2 weeks that look identical and react completely different throughout the week. So 1 week, it'll be like the do. Yeah. It'll be like, oh, what a blessing, I get to go play tennis with a friend. Yeah. And like the next week it'll be like, oh my god, I have to fit in tennis as well and how do I eat and like, so I think it's just all very interconnected, isn't it? And like mental, physical, spiritual, they're also interlinked. I think that's also the bit that's hard, because you're obviously trying to look after your body because that's important for your mind. Yeah. But like, when can I fit in 4 gym sessions that are like at least an hour long, when I'm also trying to fit in like my social life, when I'm also trying to fit in like church life, when I'm also trying to fit in like family life, and like when I'm also trying to fit in then like unexpected events, and I'm also trying to fit in like time to rest, and I'm also trying to fit in like time to, you know, study, and I'm also like.
And I guess we've talked about priorities before, haven't we? But I guess it does maybe it comes back to I know I definitely feel under pressure to be like high achieving in every area. So like a great friend, the best wife, a fantastic colleague, a really conscientious student. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel pressure to do everything 110% kind of thing. Whereas like we can't give 110% capacity to
that's not
everything.
How maths works.
That's not how percentages work. Yeah. Like, but also, I guess that's the skill, isn't it? Is learning where your capacity is at, which might change week on week. Yeah. Have you seen that thing about like if I have 40% capacity today and I give, it's like if I give 40% on that day, I'm actually giving 100%. Yeah. Because like of what is available to me, like I'm giving it all, But also, why? I guess it's like, why do we have to give 100%? Is it not okay to give 80%? I don't know. We are kind of taught to like give it your all kind of thing. Yeah. Whereas like I feel like I'm still trying to figure out what that looks like when you have got competing priorities. For example, today it's Wednesday, and I've still not been to the gym this week. Yeah. But I've got a little bit of an injury, and I'm just really tired. Like I came home last night from work, sat on the sofa, did some editing. I literally just lay on the sofa for the whole. I didn't even do my steps. And steps is like normally the automatic thing that gets done every day, regardless. Like it just kind of happens. It's so automatic, and I didn't even hit my steps yesterday. And I'm not being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't even hit my steps. I'm not being like that. It's just like one of those things that normally just happens. But in this particular week, I don't think I have capacity to do all my steps and get all my gym sessions in and edit the podcast and blah, 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 and blah. Do you know what I mean? Like we can't prioritise everything.
And I think I find it really frustrating, really difficult and really overwhelming and really pressurised to live in a society that is like, be better, be more, do better, do more. Like, you have to achieve to make the most of every moment. Every moment has to count. And like the whole 75 hard thing of like, you need to like wake up really early, have an ice bath, or have a cold shower, you know, like meditate, and then after you've meditated you have to do exercise for this amount of time, and then you have to drink a litre of water with a lemon in it before you do anything or eat anything, and then you have to have a savoury breakfast to stop the spikes, then don't forget to take your vitamins, you've got to take your castor oil, and then you've got to do your leave-in hair mask to make sure that's good, and then you've got to, and that's just what, by 8 a.m?
Yeah.
Honey, I can't do that. Let me live. And I think like I don't want to be better. Like, leave me alone. And even if that doesn't appeal to me, and even if I don't want to be that person, that's still like what I'm getting fed a lot. Yeah. Of like all, like, you know, the 5 to 9 before the 9 to 5. You've seen all them videos of like people waking up at 5 and do all this stuff before 9 a.m. And I'm like, maybe I don't want to make the most of every single moment. Yeah. Like, maybe I just want to breathe and, like, I don't know, have a minute to, like, collect my thoughts. So, like, I don't, like, I've started, like, not really listening to music when I'm in the car and stuff. And, like, trying... So, there's a book by John Mark Comer, which is The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And I found it really, really helpful. It's a really good book. I recommend it to anyone. And he, towards the end, has a few steps of, like, what he finds helpful. Yeah. And so, some of them are, like, super practical. There's a chapter called Slowing, and it's things he does to, like, slow down. So there's, like, 10 or something, and I'm just going to give you the, like, titles. So, drive the speed limit. And, like, that's literally, like, these aren't metaphors for life. He's literally, like, drive the speed limit. Yeah. Which is crazy. Like, that... Because in the car, I think, is when I'm, like, most frantic sometimes. Because again, it's like that waste of time. Because I drive.
That's so interesting.
I drive quite a lot for like work. Yeah. And I'm like, this is a waste of time. I could be doing things instead of driving. So I'm like listening to an audiobook, which ironically is where I listen to this. Or I'm like, so I'm trying to better myself, or I'm listening to something else, or I'm like, listening to the podcast sometimes, like to think about what I edit with it, or I'm like planning out the day, or like voice messaging, replying to people, or listening to people's voice messages so I can reply to everything. So it's like quite a rushed environment, and I'm probably late, so I'm probably driving faster than maybe I...
That's so funny, because I completely get the like podcast thing. I stopped listening to I ended up being in a situation where I was listening to lots of like productivity or like entrepreneurial kind of type podcasts when driving. And I stopped doing that because it was so much. I drive quite long distances for work. So every time I was in the office, it would be like a lot, like a new topic each time. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes 2 podcasts in a day kind of thing. And it was way too much content to like absorb. And I was also like, what's the point in me listening to all these like productivity tips but then never doing anything with them? I'd be much better at listening to one thing and actually implementing it. But apart from that, I rush around the house, but as soon as I get in the car, it's like I just calm down because I'm like, it'll take how long it takes.
That's so interesting. I'm so different.
I'm not in control of the traffic. I like, because on my way to work, if there's one crash, that's it, I'm an hour late.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely out of my control. So, and I'm very much like, I'm quite a, like, I will stick to the speed limit. Like, I'm not a speeder.
Yeah.
So I am like, I will wait in this queue of traffic.
Yeah.
I don't like, you know, like some people, if there's like 2 lanes of traffic, they're like constantly like weaving in and out to try and like get ahead. Yeah. I'm just not like that. I'm like, I'd rather not be stressed and just sit in the same lane of traffic and just like, I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really like relax when I get in the car because I'm like, at this point, if the length of the journey is going to make me late, I have no control over that.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
Which I think is actually really healthy for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I like, because I have been.
I
like
see
that
people with
before.
road rage, and I'm like, bro, chill out. Like, it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like, just take a breath. So I'm not like road ragey.
No.
But I'm like, I'll be trying to do things.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, yeah. Whether it's like a phone call or like a podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
So his thing is, I'm sorry. Drive the speed limit, get into the slow lane, and come to a full stop at stop signs. Don't text and drive. Show up 10 minutes early for appointment without your phone. There's a lot in there about like boredom and how great that is, and actually how we need to have more of that. Get in the longest checkout line at the grocery store. Same with like the car. Honestly, turn your smartphone into a dumb phone. Number 8, get a flip phone. Or ditch your cell phone altogether. Number 9, parent your phone, put it to bed before you and make it sleep in, so it's not the first thing you see in the morning. 10, keep your phone off until after your morning quiet time. So there's like just some like 10 like just really 11 set times for email. 12, set a time and a time limit for social media or just get off it. 13, kill your TV. 14, single task. Because it's that whole thing of like multitasking is actually just doing a bunch of things badly.
Yeah.
15, walk slower. 16, I walk so slow. I really like meander. I'm not like a
pacer.
Yeah. Because again, if I'm for a walk, it's a leisurely, like it's not, it's like a lunchtime break or it's like with a friend or.
Yeah.
Whereas when I used to walk to get to places, I guess it's probably more.
Yeah.
16, take a regular day alone for silence and solitude. 17, take up journaling. 18, experiment with mindfulness and meditation. 19, if you can, take longer vacations. 20, cook your own food and eat in. And that's 20. But I think they're just like really practical ways of having like a slower life.
Yeah.
I long for it. I long for like a cottage in the countryside, but knowing again that that's all internal. So like the cottage in the countryside isn't what makes life slower.
Yeah.
Like it's that internal thing of actually my internal needs to be slower before my outside can be slower. Because again, you can have a busy life but be a slow and calm person.
Yeah.
So I've literally just finished that book, so I found it really, really helpful. And there's a few things like, I do that already, and like, that's cool. Like, I'm glad I do some things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a few things like, that's a good idea. Like, actually, I maybe will do that. Because the whole thing of like grayscale and stuff, I'm like, it's gonna be boring to look at my phone. But like, no, Rach, that's the point. But like, so I think some things are difficult, but like sometimes actually you have to make difficult decisions to like reap the rewards and like just not give in to that constant thing of having to be pleasured. I think that's really important to like say no to yourself and learn 100%. That skill of like sitting in the uncomfortable.
I have I feel like I've heard quite a lot recently, ironically on social media, about boredom the link between boredom and creativity,
and
and how like a lot of, where did I see that?
Really linked.
It was about, I saw it somewhere about problem solving. It might have been the 4,000 Weeks book, I'm not sure, but about how if you have a problem that you're trying, like in work, say something's gone wrong, you have an issue, if you can't like find a solution, one of the best things you can do is go for a walk.
Yeah.
And just like let it simmer, let it bubble away. And similarly with because I guess problem solving is a form of creativity, right?
Yeah.
So
like writer's block, they say go for a walk.
Yeah. Which like I think is really interesting, because that all feels so countercultural. Even creativity to an extent.
Yeah.
Feels kind of countercultural.
Because again, like if you're doing something for the sake of doing it and for the joy you find in it, it's like, well, you can't monetize that. That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Like you're not using your time wisely because you're not making money from it, or you're not gaining followers from it, or you're not. Yeah. Rather than like, but I'm experiencing joy from doing it.
Yeah.
And I think people maybe aren't appreciative of like experience anymore.
Yeah.
So like I went to this concert and I like filmed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, but you weren't even there. Like you weren't actually there.
Yeah.
Like
I think so something that I've been doing a lot of recently is crochet.
Yeah.
And I know like you guys have seen some of my little crochet projects, the frog and the strawberry.
Shout out.
But I've been doing a slightly bigger project recently. And it's one of those things where like I'm so impatient with it. Like I want it to be done. And there is a part of that that's really positive, because obviously like you kind of need the momentum to keep going to get it done. But it does also feel like it's reminding me just how long stuff takes to make.
Yeah. And
I think that's really like, it's one of those things that it's a hobby that I kind of go in and out of semi-regularly. But when I am in the habit of making stuff, particularly crochet, I think it's a really useful habit, because it just takes the amount of time it takes. Like some people can crochet crazy fast. I'm quite a probably slow to average crocheter, but there's only so fast you can go when you're crocheting. Like you know there's only so fast you can go. So it's not, in a way, it's not really that rushable. Yeah. Unless you are in a position where you're able to just sit and crochet for like 4 days straight, it probably is going to take you weeks, if not months, to complete something. It's actually like really inspired me to, I can knit, but like not very well. But I'd really like to learn, and I'd like to get better at it. But I've been put off for quite a while because I know how long it took me to learn to crochet, and how like it took ages. It's not like you learn and then you can produce whatever you want. Yeah. It's like you have to grow in the skill, and it gets neater over time and whatever. And I was just impatient about that process. Like that process was just really daunting in terms of like knitting. But more recently I've been like, no, actually, like I will gain so much more from it than just being able to knit. Like it teaches me about patience, basically.
What is the rush?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if it takes you 12 months to learn how to knit, great. Yeah. Like,
and at least I started now.
Yeah, you're so young.
Right?
Like you've got your whole, like, and that's a skill you've got your whole life to use.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think like my point in saying all of that is that I think hobbies, particularly creative hobbies, are really useful in teaching us to slow down a little bit, and that stuff just takes as long as it takes.
And also like to connect your body again.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really good to use your hands and be connecting with your body, and just doing one thing at a time. Because I'll like put a comfort show on and then like colour or something. Yeah. But someone said to me the other day, they're like, just leave the comfort show off. Yeah. Just sit, like just do the one thing. Yeah. So like if I'm watching a film, I won't go on my phone. Or
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? Because I do worry about our brains and how like our attention span is literally less than a goldfish now.
Yeah.
They did a study on it. It's like it's literally less than a goldfish.
Bizarre.
And how scary that is.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to, like I used to love watching films. I don't want to get
Yeah.
bored 10 minutes in because I can't maintain. So yeah, I think reading has really helped with that as well, like the slowness, because I don't read very fast, so I have to like slowly intake the information. So again, that's been super helpful with like the slowing of the pace, and I think it is very dependent on your life and what stage of life you're in, and whether or not you've got, you know, kids or dependents or people requiring a lot of you. But there is, I mean, we all know people who are like just walking through life with such grace and such like intention, and they don't make you feel rushed. Like, you know, some people, you're talking to them and you're like, I know you want this conversation to end. I hate that. Whereas some people, you'll talk and you know that you could be there for an hour and they wouldn't even, they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Do you know what I mean? I want to be that person. And I think, and I am in some situations, do you know what I mean? But this is one area that I'm okay to get better in. I don't need to get better in my morning routine. I need to get better in my like, practicing patience and like life. There's not a finish line. Do you mean like there's not something we're all striving towards? Like success looks different for everyone. So what are we rushing towards? Like why am I rushing? What am I rushing for?
That's crazy. That is literally. I know I keep going on about it, but that is in that book. So the 4,000 Weeks book. He talks about how it is a little bit morbid, the whole like premise of the book, but he talks about how because the human experience is limited, right? Like we are on Earth for a very short amount of time in the grand scheme of things, and the thing that makes us more uncomfortable than anything else is that fact. So we just spend our lives running away from it, trying to pretend that I can do anything I want, I have all the time in the world, and acting like we have all the time in the world. Because we do the things that, I feel like I should do that, even though it might not be our priority or it might not be what we actually think matters. But we don't put time aside for the things that we think actually matter, because it's like, I'll get to that once I've done everything else. But like, we don't have time to do everything else before you get to the stuff that matters. And he talks about like it just being an avoidance technique, basically. That like we just don't want to face up to the reality that like we're finite, or at least our experience on this earth is finite, right?
There is no final line. There is no
so we're not
finish line.
There is no like I've achieved everything. It's impossible.
And because achievement looks different for everyone. Like we want different lives. Like people want different lives. They want different things. Like there just is no marker of success. Like it is so different for everyone, and like you can't please everyone. Like you just what is it? You might be the juiciest peach in the world, but there's some people who don't like peaches. Like
I've never heard that. That's funny.
Have you not? I really like that. And I think like, so just do what you love.
And what brings you,
like what makes life worth living for you, and do that.
And what brings you peace. Like what makes you feel at ease. I think it is really interesting, particularly when it comes to like career, because like the natural assumption is that people want to progress in their careers, but like why? But like that, why is that? That isn't. You don't have to. Like
more money, more problems. That's what I heard. Do you know, it's actually, so in this book, the John Mark Comer one, he said if you get to I think it's between like 45 to 55,000, you'll get like the happiness percentage will not increase. So like once you're at that point where like you literally have everything you need, no matter how much more you make, you will never, the happiness doesn't increase with the money. And it's like that really famous quote by that person, which was like, how much money is enough? Just a little bit more. Like, there is no, like, there just is no metric for success.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got to be careful with social media, and that's why you've got to be careful with the people you surround yourself with, because your timeline and your For You page is so incredibly crafted to who you are. It makes you think the whole world looks like that. Like,
and
if you're
also,
a fitness person, your whole For You page is fitness people.
Yeah.
And they obviously have very clear metrics or whatever. Not even. Everyone's got different metrics. But, like, or if you're a businessman, you're a finance bro, you're a tech bro, like, it's so specific to that, and you think the whole world revolves around that, and you think you need that pair of trainers to be, like, fit in. Like, it's just, it's just not as black and white as that.
Yeah. And sometimes I do this thing where, like, if I'm feeling like that, like, oh, I'm so behind the trend because everybody on Instagram has this pair of trainers or whatever, as a silly example, I just try and make an effort to see if I can notice it in real life. So, like, walking down a street, is everybody actually wearing those trainers? Like, I find it really helpful just to pay attention to the people around me and be like, they don't, and not that means therefore I don't need them, or therefore there's no value in having them, or whatever, but it just helps me, like, re-engage with the real world and be like, no, actually most of us are just wearing the same trainers that we've been wearing for the last 4 years, and we'll replace them when they wear out. That's actually more normal than what I'm seeing on social media. And I think also, similar to, I know we've mentioned this a few times in a couple of different podcasts, but this whole idea of like there is no metric of success, that doesn't have to be like a one size fits all thing. I think a lot of the culture these days, again, has like pendulum swung away from, like, or at least in my algorithm, I guess, has swung away from like stereotypical office 9-to-5 jobs through to like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, I control my own hours, I live in Bali, I do what I want, kind of thing. And again, like I said, like we've mentioned in other podcasts, that doesn't make wanting a 9-to-5 or having a standard office job where actually you're pretty content and you like the stability and whatever, that doesn't make that wrong or like uncool or unusual. Like, do you know what I mean? Those, just because that's what you're seeing on your page all the time doesn't necessarily mean, well, it doesn't mean that you would be happy if you had that. And
I don't know, I'm just doing one-line quotes constantly throughout this, but like, wherever you are, there you are. Like, you're still the same person you still have the same mind, you'll still have the same emotions, you still have the same memories. Like, just because you move somewhere or change a career or change a job or get married or move away or whatever it is, you are still the same person dealing with the same crap you're dealing with today. Like, it is a form of escapism, isn't it, I suppose? And it's a harsh reminder. And again, I guess it's that thing of like, you can't have it all. Or you can have it all, but just not at the same time. So you can't have stability and sell everything and move to Bali. Like, you can't have both. So it's that, you said it a few episodes ago, saying yes to one thing and saying no to 10 other things.
And that's what makes it valuable.
And there's no rush. So like the whole thing is like, there's no rush to make them decisions. Like, there's not.
Which is really helpful. So like, a conversation that we had the other day was kind of ironic via WhatsApp. So like I said, I've been crocheting and knitting and like, it's the thing at the moment. And I just go through phases when it comes to hobbies. And I texted you, or I WhatsApped you saying, like, all these things that I had to do that I was feeling a bit overwhelmed about, and I was like, and all I want to do is start a crochet YouTube channel. That's all I want right now, literally. That's the only thing I'm interested in right now. And your response really, like, kind of surprised me, because it was just, I think you said something like, I feel like you'll be able to one day. And like, genuinely, I wasn't thinking. It was like now or never. Like, I either do this now, this either becomes my entire personality right now, or I'm never doing it. But then when you were like, well, I think you could maybe one day, I was a bit like, yeah.
That seems reasonable.
I guess maybe I could just wait and do it at another time. But yeah, I think that's just a really healthy perspective to have, especially if you are like me in that, where like you get an idea and you want to do it now, and it's almost like there's like, my brain is very much, there's no time like the present when it comes to like things that I'm interested in. Anything else, I'll do it later. But if I'm not interested, then I'll do it later.
Like taking the chicken out of the oven.
Yeah, like if it's not exciting, I'll do it later. If it's the dishes, I'll do it later. Later never comes. It's always now. But that's so valid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe you could one day. It doesn't have to be now.
Like, nothing actually has to be now. Like,
yeah.
If we're talking about priorities and essentials, like, what are we all running around for? Like, I think sometimes we actually have to look at our lives and be like, what do I want my life to look like? I don't want to look like someone who's rushing around all the time. Some people that might really suit, and like, obviously my brain thrives off that, but I don't think that's in a healthy way. And yeah, when I look at my life, I don't want to just like absolutely like bombard through it. I want to like sit and think and contemplate and reflect and be like, yeah, I lived that well because I lived in the moment. I was present. Like, good times, bad times, I was present. I wasn't thinking about the next thing constantly, because it steals like the future. Like, rushing around, hurrying all the time, like, it just steals the moment that you're currently in.
Yeah. And the irony of living in the moment is that if you try too hard to live in the moment, you're that's the same. Like, if you're trying to force living in the moment, I must be present. It's the same thing. That's about trying to suck every single thing out of life, isn't it? Like, to make the most of every single moment. Whereas, like, so some of, in my understanding at least, some of living in the moment just looks like wasting time.
Yeah.
Meandering through life.
Yeah.
Not being like, oh, I'm at this concert and I have to live in the moment, so I have to like observe every single thing and make sure I know exactly what's going on and make sure I'm making. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, just be there and just exist and just enjoy it and move on. Like, it's not that deep. Like,
because some of my favorite moments are like Saturday mornings, where on the outside it would look like I'm wasting time, because I won't leave the house till like midday sometimes, because I'm like having a little lie-in, or like having a coffee and reading outside in the garden, or like, and yes, I have 10,000 other things I could be doing and should be doing, and probably, you know, would be better off if I was doing, but
you'll never,
for whose benefit?
And you'll never,
'cause it's not for my benefit.
You'll never do all of those things.
The list never ends.
Yeah, exactly. The list is never ending. So what's the harm in pausing?
Yeah.
And I appreciate that, obviously, again, contextually, that's easy for us to say sat here with no children, no dependents, blah, blah, blah. But I do still think it applies outside of, like, the essentials. Obviously, like, you have to do things that you are obligated to do because of responsibility. But still, what's the harm in the house not being hoovered for an extra day, week?
Yeah.
What's the harm?
Because actually, like, who are you doing it for?
Yeah.
Because if you've got kids and you think you've got to take them to football practice on a Saturday morning, but you're screaming at them to get out of the house because they haven't tied their shoelaces and everyone's late and you're running late because you haven't slept because you're on your phone till midnight watching whatever, like, that's not a pleasant experience for anyone.
Yeah.
like, I'm pretty sure they could have rather not go to football rather than they get screamed at. Like,
Yeah.
because we're never our best when we're hurrying, when we're in a rush. Like, I'm snappy, I'm irritable, I'm like more fractious, I'm more like, I'm not like joyful and peaceful and loving and kind and thoughtful. I'm like, we need to go, we need to get there now, come on, like, put your shoelaces on, like, we're gonna be late, oh my gosh, don't run into the road, and everything's just like high cortisol levels, and like, that's just not what I feel that we were made for. So I should like take stock and be like, is this serving my family well? Is it worth the like ag? Like, because I what is the benefit of rushing?
And again, I think we are in a culture where
keep up with the Joneses still, aren't we?
Yeah, and like society tells us that there's no alternative. You have to keep up, you have to rush, you have to, I mean, and I think we do sometimes wear it as a badge of honour as well, don't we? Do you know, like,
how are you? Oh, I'm busy.
Yeah, so tired.
Busy
you wouldn't
this
believe
week.
how.
I've got so much on my plate.
And like, that's not negating the fact that that is often our experience, because we are busy and we have got lots going on, and that is a lot of pressure, and we have got a lot of stuff on our plate. But where is that line between that's my genuine experience and I'm just expressing that, and I don't know how to be anything but busy and stressed? Whereas we have to see that there is an alternative. Like, this is not, it's not impossible to live a life that is at least a little bit less hurried. And I'm not saying that from experience, because I feel like I am generally quite a stressed, busy person, but surely it's worth going after a more peaceful, calm life that meanders a little bit more than paces, you know?
Even think about COVID though. Like, I worked through COVID, but I had some really nice times. I lived on my own for like most of it, but I just didn't have all the faff that I have, like
all the stuff,
all the like social engagements, all the like clubs, all the priorities, all this community stuff. Like, I just didn't have it. I really liked that. But I also really like the communities I'm a part of. And it's that balance. Shock horror, everything comes back to balance. I feel like I've been very aggy this episode, I can't lie. I feel like I've been quite angry and a bit like aggressive, but it's probably the wrong week for me to have a podcast episode about Harry. So I just would like to caveat that and apologise for the aggression. I'm just like, can everyone just chill out and calm down? But I'm actually the one who needs to chill out and calm down. Oh, the irony.
Yeah. So I feel like we've come back to some quite consistent themes, right? That like culturally there's an expectation that we are, that everybody's desire is to be high achieving, quote unquote high achieving, busy, and that's the norm. And I think we often don't know how to respond to people that aren't stressed, tired, busy. And also, I do think there's a valid point in that it's easier to have a conversation with someone if they say, if in response to how are you, they say, oh yeah, I'm a bit busy, there's quite a lot going on, I'm a bit stressed. That leads to questions. Oh, what's going on? Oh, what, like, is it work? Is it family? Whatever. If you ask someone, how are you? And they said, do you know what, I'm great, I'm really rested. Like, what do you say to that? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's the follow-up? And does that come across as a bit braggy?
Teach me your ways.
Are we too... I wonder if it's a British thing.
Yeah.
That, like, we can't say, like, actually, I'm doing really good right now. That's just not the norm. Yeah. Because we are a bit of a complainy, grumbly culture. But, like, that doesn't have to be the case. There will always be stuff in life. There will always be problems to be solved and whatever. But that is what... Isn't that kind of the point? That's what makes life interesting, right? And that's what defines seasons and, like, So I think that's one theme, like culture, society, pressure from other people. We've talked a bit about social media, which I guess kind of falls into that category as well. We've also talked about social media from the perspective of like people vying for our attention, so how our attention is monetized and therefore it's a resource to be utilized, and the irony then that we feel like we have to use our time well, which again puts pressure on us. And then I guess like thirdly we've talked about like mindset towards life, so whether you can still be busy but not be rushed, and what that looks like in terms of setting up boundaries and just controlling, I guess, the way you go about things rather than the amount of stuff you have, or limiting that amount.
And rather than life happening to you, you actually like, you know, being more planned and being more planned and thoughtful. Yeah. Rather than reactive. Yeah. So like, I'm learning now in my 20s. Yeah. I'm gonna follow that book. Religiously. And be completely zen by the next time we have an episode. But,
stay tuned.
Yeah, literally. It'll be better than today. But I want to do that before I get to crisis. I want to do that before I get to burnout. Because this book came from him burning out. Yeah. I don't want to get there. Yeah. So actually, I don't want to respond to my life happening to me. I want to like prepare for what life could bring.
So yeah, we're coming to the end. That's our thoughts on hurrying, rushing. This episode. Don't forget that you can follow us on social media. Instagram, TikTok.
We're vying for your attention.
Lol. The irony is strong. At the Is It Normal podcast. Don't forget to
do a poll.
Engage with our stuff. On Spotify, we've got our polls. Make sure to also follow us on Spotify so you get updated when we post new episodes. If you have any questions, thoughts, suggestions for other episodes, anything like that, you can email us at theisitnormalpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget, if you are emailing us, make sure you let us know if you'd rather stay anonymous or whether you would like a little shout out.
Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop, indeed. I think that's everything for this week's episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fab. So we hope that this episode made you feel a little bit less alone when it comes to hurrying through life, and hopefully we can all start some conversations about how we make sure that we're living more peaceful, meandery lives.
Go talk to people you love about it. See what they got to say about it, and then let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, and tell us what you would want to clap and things appear.
Oh yeah.
That's a really bad way of phrasing it. You know what I mean. Yeah. You've listened to the episode. You know it.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. We trust that.
All right. You're not alone in the figuring out though, guys. We love it that you're here. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.